In the previous episode, they shared a romantic moment in Canada. In this episode, Sunny and Dong-wood meet on a bridge. Sunny asks why he didn't call her, and they decide to go to a nearby cafe for a chat. During their conversation, Sunny asks for his name. However, due to the laws of the gods, the Grim Reaper has forgotten his past and doesn't have a name, so he is unable to answer her question. Sunny, unaware that Dong-wood is a Grim Reaper, still believes he is just an ordinary human. Meanwhile, the goblin and Dong-wood drink beer together. The goblin is feeling stressed because of his thoughts about Yoon-tak. He's deeply in love with her, and her smile fills him with happiness and the desire to live. Yet before he lets himself fall completely in love and live a happy life with her, he decides he must die. The more time he spends with Yoon-tak and the happier he becomes, the more painful it will be when she discovers the truth about the duty of the goblin's bride, to end his life by pulling the sword from his chest. This is the fate the gods have chosen for them. Later that night, the goblin visits Yoon-tak and tells her to live with him in his house instead of staying where she is, and the goblin said,
사랑해.
The way he says it hurts her feelings, making her believe he doesn't love her and is only asking because she is the goblin's bride. However, the truth is that the goblin is deeply sad. He truly loves her and wants to spend his entire life with her, but his fate is to die at her hands. On the way home, Yoon-tak asks for his name and he replies, Kim Shin. When they arrive home, Yoon-tak doesn't have a prepared room, so she sleeps in the goblin's bed that night. While there, she discovers that he has kept her poetry book and finds a letter on his table, although she can't read it. This letter is about the goblin's life, from his time as the warrior Kim Shin to his cursed existence as a goblin, as well as his punishment by the gods. Meanwhile, the goblin sleeps with Dong-wood, and before they drift off, they talk about the gods. Both of them, despite being supernatural beings, have never seen the gods who punished them. The next morning, they buy phones to keep in touch with Yoon-tak. Finally, Dong-wood has phoned to call Sunny. Meanwhile, Yoon-tak begins researching who Kim Shin is and discovers that he was a brilliant and noble warrior. After school, Yoon-tak calls the goblin to go shopping for her new room. During this time, Dong-wood also tries to call Sunny, but he can't because he is too nervous. When Yoon-tak and the goblin return home, she finds that he has created a beautiful new room for her, fully furnished with everything she might need. She is very happy for her new room. Later, the Grim Reaper asks Yoon-tak for advice on choosing a name since, as mentioned earlier, he has no name because no memory of his past life. The goblin supports Yoon-tak as she studies, often preparing snacks for her. One day, he asks about her dream, and she shares that she wants to become a radio program director, Radio PD. That night, Dong-wood sits alone in the dining room, struggling with his fear of calling Sunny. The goblin steps in and makes the call for him, successfully arranging a date between the two. The next day, the goblin takes Yoon-tak back to Canada to enjoy a steak dinner. When he enters the restaurant, something strange happens. He suddenly feels like he's in the future. In this vision, he sees an older version of Yoon-tak with short hair, dining with another man in the same restaurant. The goblin assumes that by this time he must have died because Yoon-tak pulled out his sword. He's happy because she can move on from him and date with another man. But at the same time, he's also heartbroken and begins to cry. However, in the present, Yoon-tak has no idea what's happening and can't understand his reaction.